وقال تعالى في رواية آخر الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والتسليم. Today's hadith is on mercy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah At-Tawbah, the believers are allies of other believers. They command each other to do that which is ma'roof, which is good, and they prohibit and forbid each other from refraining from doing that which is disliked and which is wicked and evil. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ, and they establish prayer and they give charity and they obey Allah and His Rasul. أُولَٰئِكَ سَيَرْحَمُهُمُ اللَّهُ. These are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will shower His mercy upon. In the hadith of Jarir ibn Abdullah, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يرحم الله من لا يرحم الناس. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not show mercy upon that individual who does not show mercy upon the creation, upon people. And in a similar narration, الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن. That in essence, those that show mercy are the ones that will be shown mercy by the most merciful. ارحموا من في الأرض. So have mercy upon that which is on the earth. It includes all of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. From the human beings, whether they believe in Allah or they don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, show mercy upon them. And all of the other creations, biotic and abiotic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created the heavens and the earth, He divided mercy into 100 parts. And only one part of that mercy did He bring down on earth. And it is that 1% of mercy that we see the affection the parents show to their children. It is out of that 1% of mercy that He sent down that we see animals showing mercy to each other. So only 1% has been sent down on earth. Where is that 99? The other 99% of mercy is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He has reserved that mercy to be used on the Day of Judgment upon all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst them. So the hadith mentions that have mercy upon the creation. It does not specify believers or non-believers or any other distinguishing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Mumtahina, He says, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم وظاهروا على إخراجكم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. That Allah does not forbid you from أن تبروهم, from doing good and showing justice to those non-Muslims that are not fighting with you, or that are not fighting or supporting other organizations and causes that are against you, and they're not expelling you from your houses. So these are individuals that you are allowed to have tabarruhum, that you are allowed to have good relationship with them, you're allowed to do good towards them. And this, in essence, can be a form of da'wah, especially in the country that we live in. If no one is harming you and they're not plotting against you, and tabarruhum, be just towards them and do good towards them. And as Muslims, I believe in the West, we are the ambassadors of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You as an individual might be the only source that your co-worker, your colleague, your fellow classmate will know as a true source of Islam. So let us represent Islam in the best of ways. Let us represent Islam contrary to how we are represented on the news outlets. Similarly, when it comes to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, famous narration of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, where he says the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions of a man that was on a journey and then he gets thirsty, he comes across a well, he goes down that well, he drinks some water, and when he comes out of that well, he sees that there is a dog that is almost breathing his last breath out of thirst. And then he goes back in again. and he gets water and he in his shoe, and he gives that water to that dog, and now that dog has quenched his thirst. So just because he showed mercy to a creation and to a dog, right? And dogs are not considered animals that you can keep in your houses as well. But despite that, he shows mercy to an animal, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives this man in lieu of that. Similar narration where there was a very righteous lady. She had a cat that she kept in captivity. She did not feed it, nor did she allow it for it to roam around and get food on its own. And the cat died out of starvation. Creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. An animal. You know, people ask, does Islam say anything about animal rights? These are hadiths that talk about animal rights. So because of his ill treatment towards that animal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished this lady. So this shows the emphasis that Islam puts on not just, imagine if this was the outcome for a person not showing mercy to an animal. What would be the outcome for a person that does not show mercy to human beings? And more so to his fellow brother and sister. And when it comes to the environment, قال سبحانه وتعالى ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا. That we see all of these natural disasters that are happening so frequently nowadays, from floods to earthquakes. Of course, they're also sometimes, many times now, a form of punishment and a reminder for the humankind. But at the same time, they're also the consequences بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ of our own actions, right? Causing pollution everywhere, not looking after the environment. We are not allowed to cut down and burn down trees if there is no necessary or valid reason. Even during the times of battles, the Prophet ﷺ forbade the believers from cutting down trees without any valid reason. So these are all ayahs that talk about mercy to human beings, right? And mercy to all of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, every time, every day, at least 17 times. If someone just prays their fara'id, at least 17 times, you are saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So in order for us to have the rahmah from Ar-Rahman and Rahim, let us also show some rahmah to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to implement these ayat and hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to be the embodiment of these. آمين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون